Culture Gaps. Culture Gaps. Culture Gaps. Culture Gaps. Culture Gaps.
Welcome to Culture Gaps, the podcast where we talk about famous movies that one or both of us has not seen. My name is Gregg.
I'm Mike. Is there ever a scenario where we do a movie that neither of us... Oh, wait, you said that.
Yeah. Sometimes neither of us have seen it, but in this case, today, it's a movie that you, Michael, have not seen.
Big surprise.
Yeah,
There's a lot of those.
The big surprise of this episode is that the movie we're talking about is the Big Lebowski.
Let's set some context for the audience.
Yeah, so for the audience, context here is that Mike hates the Coen Brothers. Inexplicably.
Yeah. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, although the two movies that you did like that the Coen Brothers made, interestingly, are Inside Llewyn Davis.
Yeah.
Which still is bonkers to me that that's one of the ones that you liked of theirs, because it's a movie that is just about a man playing folk music and driving around with a cat. And that's like the whole movie.
Well, it reminds me of you, Greg.
I mean, I love that movie. Don't get me wrong. I'm just surprised that you liked it. And the other one of theirs that you liked was Burn After Reading.
Is that what I said?
Didn't you? Yeah, I thought you said you liked that movie. Brad Pitt, John Malkovich, George Clooney.
I think what I said about that movie was that I didn't hate it. I don't think I said I liked it.
Okay.
I did say
Fair
that I
enough.
liked The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, the TV
yeah,
miniseries.
I haven't seen that.
But that
I
was
think
because
that
I
was
like
a movie,
westerns.
but
But
yeah.
also that they did True Grit, and I didn't like that, so that didn't really.
Oh, True Grit is like the one western that I did like, so that's interesting.
Yeah, wow.
But you hate Fargo, you hate No Country for Old Men, you hate
God, I hate
Raising
No Country for Old
Arizona.
Yep.
Yeah, just like any Coen Brothers movie. Well, I guess you haven't
That people
you-
love.
Yeah, you haven't seen a lot of the fringe. You haven't seen like Barton Fink or
Or Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
yeah. So those are
Haven't
like
seen
some of my favorite Coen Brothers movies. But The Big Lebowski is probably their most famous.
Well, yeah.
I would say.
I managed to avoid this one because I already had said an opinion about the Coen Brothers, in which I did not want to watch any more of their movies, so I didn't watch Big Lebowski.
Yep.
Because I would have had to go back and watch it. I never saw it when I was younger, so why would I make an effort to go see a movie by people I don't really like?
Yeah, I mean it makes sense. It still is crazy to me that you don't like the Coen Brothers, but yeah, I mean it makes sense if you don't like someone's style and sensibility. Why would you watch more of their movies?
Well, I'll tell you what, sometimes, and this is funny because both of the two I said I liked, I didn't realize was by them when I watched it, so I don't know if I'm just being biased.
You might be.
I didn't know until after, and then I'm like, oh, they actually made something good.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious, what is it that you dislike about the Coen Brothers movies you have seen?
Look, man, it's been so long since I've actually seen them.
Okay. So maybe you'll be revisiting a lot of opinions this episode.
Maybe. I remember being very passionately against No Country for Old Men.
To be fair, I also disliked No Country for Old Men. I thought it was just a very well done action movie, but it was so like kind of bland. I was just like, well, why do people care that much about this movie?
Yeah, did they do a movie with Clive Owen?
With Clive Owen, it's not ringing a bell, but I'm looking up their filmography now.
Maybe it's just that I also hated a movie by Clive Owen that sounded like No Country for Old Men, that I had assumed it was Coen Brothers for so long. Children of Men.
Oh, that is a completely different movie. That's by Alfonso Cuarón.
Right.
That in my opinion, is one of the best sci-fi films ever made.
Wow, that one I was very passionately against.
Of course you were. That's an amazing movie. Incredible
Wow.
filmmaking on display in that movie. Like, even if you didn't love it as a movie, there's no way you could say that it's not an amazing piece of filmmaking.
You know what? We should do a spin-off series where we go back and rewatch movies that I say I hate.
Yeah.
And
I know.
see if maybe I have a different opinion, because I'm a different person now, right? Like,
Yeah, it's like, oh, I watched this movie when it came out and I hated it, and now it's not as bad as I remembered.
I would love to do that.
Yeah.
Now I want to go back and rewatch it. You're saying it's good, but
It is
for
actually
some reason I
very
didn't
good.
like it.
It has its problems, but I mean, there's some really incredible camera work in it.
Yeah. Okay, Coen Brothers.
Yeah, so this is definitely, so Coen Brothers, I think they can oscillate between drama and comedy. That's kind of like where they fall, is like their movies are like on a spectrum from drama to comedy, and most of them kind of fall somewhere in the middle. The Big Lebowski falls a little further to the comedy side, but there is some drama in there too.
That's what I gather from it. Kind of like Raising Arizona.
Raising Arizona, I would say, is maybe their most straightforward comedy of all time.
Yeah.
That's like pure comedy.
Is Oh Brother, Where Art Thou not comedy? It seems like it would be.
No, that's very much a comedy as well, but there's some drama in there too.
All right. As opposed to No Country is straight drama.
Yeah, No Country for Old Men has no humor at all, which is part of what I disliked about it. But yeah, I mean, the Coen brothers also, like, they have a tendency to write movies that are about, like, average, ordinary, everyday people getting caught up in a much larger, like, world of crime that they're ill-equipped to deal with.
Are you saying that's the premise of this movie?
I mean, in broad strokes, like it happens in different ways in their movies, but yeah, like Fargo, Raising Arizona, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Like all of these movies deal with, just ordinary people ending up sort of accidentally falling backwards into a life of crime and sort of being shocked at how evil people are outside of their own limited experience.
Yeah, I feel like that sounds like something I'd like, though.
That's why I brought it up, because it sounds, on paper, I feel like you would love Coen Brothers movies. That's why it's so strange to me that you don't like them.
I feel like I should go back and rewatch Fargo too. I might have a different opinion nowadays. Who knows?
It's I will say Fargo, there have been times I watched it and didn't laugh once, and times I watched it and I was crying laughing the whole time. I feel like Fargo is one of those movies that, depending on how you're going into it, you're just going to see it differently.
So let's talk my expectations of this movie.
Yeah.
I assume it is the plot you just described.
I wouldn't call that a plot.
Yeah. Theme? I don't know. What I do know is there's something about bowling. That's what I know about this movie. Mm-hmm. I know it's got Jeff Bridges, who is the dude. I know that.
That's correct.
He's got long hair, and people love him. I know Steve Buscemi is in it, and John Goodman.
Ooh, my boy. John Goodman.
Your boy. Flintstones.
Love John Goodman.
You're a big Flintstones fan, and Roseanne?
I mean, I'm a big John Goodman fan in that era. That era of John Goodman is peak hotness for my bear-obsessed mind.
Yeah, when you say big John Goodman fan, you mean when he's big and good. And good man, right? You just hear big good man.
He's a big good man. No, I feel like there was an era when he was in his like 30s and 40s. That's like the golden era of John Goodman in my mind. I can't believe I'm talking about this on a podcast.
I feel like we have. Have we not?
No, I feel extra gross the way I'm talking about it right now. Like I'm commodifying John Goodman. Like, oh yeah, well, when he was in his 30s, that was his abnormal. Like if I were talking about a woman right now, it would be gross.
Yeah. You would think that. So that's about all I know. I know he gets caught up in something, and he's got like his bowling team. That's it. Like I don't know what.
That's actually perfect. That's probably a really good way to go into this movie.
It's funny is I like all those people I named. So
yeah, I mean, I genuinely believe there is a world in which you love this movie.
Wow.
My big concern at this point is just that we are battling 2 decades of not wanting to watch this movie.
Yeah, I'm also worried if it's falling on the comedy side, is it going to be dated? Like, is the comedy going to be dated in this? That's what
I
I'm
will
worried
say.
about.
I haven't watched this movie in a very, very, very long time, so I really don't remember a lot of the specifics. This,
Okay.
I will say, to set things up for me going in, this wasn't ever one of my favorite Coen Brothers movies. People love it. And I'm like, it's good, but I don't think it. I think the Coen Brothers have other movies that are a lot better. I don't understand why this specific one became such a huge cult phenomenon.
Because the dude.
The dude.
Yeah, I'm a little worried that I might come out indifferent, and that's never good. So I'm gonna be real passionate about hating it if I hate it. So.
No, I think you should keep an open mind, and if you're indifferent, we can talk it through, I guess. I think it'll be interesting no matter what, just to get your thoughts. Like, if you do suddenly become a Coen Brothers fan, that would be fascinating, I think. If you were just like, maybe I didn't hate this as much as I thought I was going to.
Well, I mean, I have liked some of their stuff. You shouldn't have told me it was a Coen Brother movie. Wait, I know that it's a Coen Brother movie.
Yeah, this movie's too famous for you to not know.
Well, I couldn't have. That wouldn't work for this one. Maybe like a more obscure one. All right. Well,
Yep. I'm excited.
Yeah, I guess I could get down for a bowling movie right about now.
Same. So, what do you say we go bowl that perfect strike and watch this movie?
Is that a term from bowling? I never played.
I don't know. Bowl a perfect strike. That's probably not a thing that people say.
It is.
Culture Gap.
You see what happens, Mike? You see what happens?
Are you doing a bit?
You see what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass?
Oh, man. You know, you would pick the quote of John Goodman saying that. Because
Yeah.
that was probably the most arousing part of the movie for you.
No, John Goodman is pretty repulsive in this movie.
What? You don't like the flat top?
The flat top and the
Veteran,
sculpted
angry,
chin strap and
pulling a gun
the
on
vest.
people?
Yeah, it's great. I love that. His
man.
mile wide man spreading. Yeah, so we just watched The Big Lebowski. You had never seen it.
I watched Flintstones.
You watched The Flintstones again.
Yeah, that's what I thought you meant when we were talking about John Goodman.
I see. That's why you thought I was aroused, because he's in his bare feet the whole movie.
Right. His leopard dress.
Yeah, I love that leopard dress. No, so you haven't seen this movie. You're not a huge fan
Never.
of the Coen Brothers. It seemed like you were probably not going to love this movie going in. But now that you've seen it, what do you think?
You know, not only have I not seen this movie before, but I've never watched it in my life.
Yep.
It's a Coen Brothers movie. Oh God, I really don't want to not just yuck anyone's yum, because people love The Big Lebowski, but also I don't want to just like shrug off anyone's yum. You know what I mean? I don't want to be like, meh, let's move on. So let me talk about the good stuff, Greg.
Yeah.
Any movie that opens with Sam Elliott's voice narrating a Western, starting with Way Out West, is going to be decent in my book. A little bit.
Yeah, I was wondering if you would like that or not, with the tumbleweed rolling through L.A. and Sam Elliott dressed as a cowboy.
Yeah, these were some highlights for me that you're describing right now.
Yep.
And in this movie, I will say there are some really good parts I really liked, and there are some parts that I just didn't care at all about. Now,
Interesting.
my thoughts on this one are real jumbled. So this movie's a neo-Western.
Is it?
Absolutely.
I was gonna jokingly say that this movie was a Western to make you mad.
No.
So I'm
100%
shocked.
is.
I was thinking it was more like a private detective crime novel.
No, it's a Western movie.
Okay.
So joke all you want, but it is.
So the dude is a cowboy, or
well, that's the weird part, is because the dude is the most unlikely choice for a cowboy, and that's intentional.
right? That's the comedy of it.
Yeah, and he's stuck in the middle of warring factions over missing money, like most Westerns. It starts with a narration about the hero from like a literal cowboy with a tumbleweed, like you said, bringing the protagonist in. I mean, this movie is their first neo-Western before No Country for Old Men, which is also one.
Yeah.
I mean, he, instead of drinking White Russians, instead of drinking whiskey, he's drinking White Russians in this movie.
Yeah. Oh boy. The most disgusting cocktail that you could ever imagine.
Yeah, his friend is shot down in a showdown. Yep. Not really shot down. Yeah, there's just so much of this that is Western to me. And
wow. So you must have loved it.
No, those are parts I liked. Surprisingly,
yeah,
the parts that everyone loves, I think, are the parts that I didn't really like, and that's what I'm gathering from it, and that's mainly the dude.
Oh, you didn't like the dude?
No.
Well, I mean, he's a bum. As the Big Lebowski keeps calling him. Yeah, he's a bum. You're a bum.
Yeah, and I think it's because I don't know if it's the right. I want to chalk it up to the writing instead of Jeff Bridges. But the way I felt about the dude in this movie was that he was like someone doing improv or playing a role-playing game and doing a character that was like completely unwilling to play along with anyone else said. It was kind of like people would throw lines at him and it was like hitting a brick wall for someone who just didn't care. It's weird. He's such a non-character to me almost.
He's very
just like
passive, yeah.
Right.
But I guess, I don't know. I guess I saw it more like he was throwing things at characters who were the brick wall. Like he was constantly pleading for everyone else to do like Walter. Like most of this movie is driven by Walter. It's just like Walter's choices, and the dude is constantly begging him not to do stuff, and Walter just doesn't listen.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's doing that, but also I just feel like he's outside of the narrative of the story. All the characters are part of this huge convoluted plot line of things going awry, and he's kind of just in there doing the rug bit over and over and doing his I don't care hippie thing.
Well, yeah, that's like his last line of the movie, like the dude abides. It's like he never changes no matter what he encounters. He just is always this like ultra laid back guy who just like everything just washes over him. Nothing affects him.
Yeah, I don't know.
You didn't like that?
I don't subscribe to the dudism thing, maybe.
Yeah, the religion of dudism.
Which is absolutely ridiculous.
I know. Like, it's good, but I don't understand why, like, this movie of all movies, or even all Coen Brothers movies, why this is the one that has the biggest, most ravenous following. I think the big thing with this movie is just that it's very quotable. It's very specific, and there's a lot of dialogue. And
there's moments. There's moments.
And the dialogue in this movie is very interesting too, where it's all like overlapping dialogue and people interrupting each other and themselves. And
I do like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keeps it more interesting. There are really good moments in this one. All the bowling stuff is great. John Goodman with the bowling ball and the showdown. That is something I like when it happened. I was like, oh yeah, this is something I've seen somewhere. John Goodman throwing a bowling ball at someone. But here's the thing. John Goodman also played Fred Flintstone, who's real into bowling. So I don't know.
Can't get over this Flintstones thing.
I don't know if I'm confusing my thoughts with Flintstone at this point.
No, I mean, I actually think the bowling stuff is largely what people remember about this movie and the scenes that people quote from this movie. I thought that's what you were going to bring up when you said that you didn't like the stuff that other people did, because I feel like the bowling scenes are all what people love, with like the Jesus being over the top. And
I didn't like that.
Oh, okay. You didn't like the Jesus.
No, I like Donny a lot.
Yeah, Donnie's great.
I love when Walter's telling him to shut up,
Donnie.
Yeah, constantly.
But that's the thing, like, shut the fuck up, Donnie is a line that people quote from this movie constantly. Or you're out of your element, or Market Zero, or 8-year-olds, dude. Or, yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man. Like, these are all from the bowling scenes. Every line I just said.
Right. That's true. One of those I really didn't like. It was the dude's line. It's just your opinion, man.
Yeah, that's just like your opinion, man.
There was just moments of that hippie act that he was doing that felt like insincere to me.
Oh, I loved that. That's like one of my favorite lines from the movie because it's so quintessentially the dude. Like, if you look up the screenplay for this movie, that's how all his lines are written. He never gets to the point. He's always starting sentences and never finishing what he's trying to say.
Is that true?
Pretty much. I mean, like, occasionally he'll get to the point, but for the most part, he's always just like saying 3/4 of a sentence and then starting a new one. He's just, he's kind of an idiot.
I mean, I can relate.
To being an idiot?
With all of that, really. I can't get more than like 3 words in on this podcast with you.
Just in the last episode.
Look, I was in a dark place for that episode.
I was also in a manic space, apparently.
Pretty much. I mean, I had just gotten done literally having a physical fight with Ray Olsen before that recording, so.
That's true. I thought one of you was going to die. Yeah, that fight was intense.
It would have been me.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
He had your throat in his hands, and I was really concerned he was going to crush your windpipe.
But I always keep a handful of sand when I'm fighting. So.
Yeah, pocket sand.
Yeah, pocket sand.
I guess I would like to talk about Walter a little bit.
Let's do it.
He's the worst. And I don't understand why the dude keeps bringing him along to everything he does.
Oh, yeah. I had to know, what was it? John Goodman is a fucking nut job who keeps making everything worse.
Oof, yeah. He's just got that, like, big, like, incel who thinks he's a Chad energy, to use the parlance of our times.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just like he's, him like freaking out in that cafe or the diner or whatever and being like,
it's First Amendment thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is not a First Amendment thing.
Yeah, exactly.
He's constantly talking about Nam.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty bad. There was a moment where he corrected the dude for saying Chinaman, though, saying Asian American, which felt out of place, but it was hilarious.
Well, but then he keeps using the slur instead, after he said, even after he corrects it. But that's, that scene is just such a good introduction to what the movie is going to be with him like doubling back. Like he says like 3 sentences unrelated to that before he doubles back and says like, by the way, that's not the preferred term. Like I just love that sort of naturalistic dialogue. I think that's what makes this movie really work. Well, that and that it's really specific. Like every scene has some very specific choice in it. Like just like whether it's like, that the bad guys are nihilists and they're European and they have like a ferret on a leash or whatever. Like it's so, or
Yeah.
like everything in this movie is like just very unique, and like
Everything's
the people
purposeful,
he meets
yeah.
are all like very quirky and they have very specific, unique quirks and idiosyncrasies.
Yeah, I feel like it's all very intentional, which I like. I really respect that. Especially that's something the Coen Brothers do. I just have an issue usually with their execution of it. And in this case, there are times in this. I mean, this isn't necessarily them. Like what I was saying about the dude, where I felt like it was ingenuine at sometimes, disingenuous sometimes, and I felt like, that moment when you feel like the actor's just delivering a line.
Yeah.
I felt like that a lot in this movie. With
who?
almost everyone.
Really?
Yeah, with the exception of like Julianne Moore, who I thought was great in this movie.
I thought she was great too, but I also thought the 3 main guys were like, I thought John Goodman, Jeff Bridges, and Steve Buscemi were all really good at that overlapping dialogue, keeping it natural.
Yeah, maybe. I just, there were moments between Jeff Bridges and John Goodman that I was like, they're just delivering lines right now. It felt like to me. I don't know. That was just a feeling I got.
That's fair.
But also, I felt like, as far as the execution goes, I felt like the plot was very convoluted, and I don't think they did a very good job of telling the audience. And maybe it's just because I'm an idiot. Or
no, I mean, I think that's part of it. There's a quote I wrote down from Joel Coen that I thought was really relevant to this. So they were sort of trying to emulate this author Raymond Chandler, who wrote a lot of like LA crime novels. So they said, we wanted to do a Chandler kind of thing, how it moves episodically and deals with characters trying to unravel a mystery, as well as having a hopelessly complex plot that's ultimately unimportant.
Right. They did do that. It is. Yeah. There is no money. It's all about finding money that doesn't exist.
Yeah, the plot, by the end of the movie, you're just like, yeah, none of this mattered. It's just that someone peed on the wrong guy's carpet, and that was it. Like, that's the whole reason this all happened.
Yeah, I like that. I love, as a concept, this is great. But I think part of the issue with it being too convoluted and them explaining it poorly is that the dude and Walter constantly are guessing what's happening in this movie, like trying to figure out the story, and they're always partially right, but partially wrong, and it's hard to tell what is right and what's not because they don't just like tell you, and you're following the main character's ideas of what's right and wrong, and you're like, I don't know what is actually true.
Right. Yeah, that's true. There is a point later on, I thought it was interesting, where they cut away from the dude's perspective for like the first time in the whole movie and show you that Bunny is just driving her convertible and she has all her toes. Mm-hmm. And then later they show you a similar disconnected scene of that nihilist woman who's missing a toe. And it's like, at the time watching it, it was kind of jarring because the whole movie is from the dude's perspective, except for these 2 scenes where suddenly we as the audience know more than the dude does, which had never been the case before. Right. But then as I was thinking about why they did that, it's like, because they need to confirm to you what is actually happening because there's been so much speculation by the characters. Like, it's so confusing. Like, does this kid have it? Did he never have it?
That's unexplained. Like, we don't know if the kid had found a briefcase or even stole the car at all. We just know that his homework was in there.
Well, apparently that whole thing was inspired by someone the Coen Brothers know. This guy, producer, Peter Exline, he had this friend who he hired as like a private detective when his car got stolen, and they found this homework of a 14-year-old kid under the driver's seat, and they put it in a Ziploc bag and like showed up at his house and presented it to him as evidence. And it turned out the kid didn't steal the car, but the Coens thought it was so funny that they like wrote it into the movie.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, and the part where they kind of figure out that the real Lebowski kind of, I don't know, he like kept his own money from the charity.
Right. Yeah.
But like it wasn't his money because the money's controlled by Maud. And like that whole bit about who did what, they kept speculating on, and it was very unclear whether like what the nihilist did, what the pornographer was looking for. It just was, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of convoluted, and ultimately it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't.
So, when the dude's car gets stolen, one of the things he mentions that's in the car he wants to make sure he gets back are some Creedence tapes.
Oh, yeah, they played some CCR in this movie.
Yeah, I was like, oh, is this Mike's parents? Is this what they're like?
My notes on this, literally its own section. Did you notice they were playing some CCR? Fuck yeah. That's what I wrote.
Yeah, he loves CCR, just like I just assume that your dad is the dude, right?
Now, I may like... No, not at all. Oh, my God. It's funny you say that because you used to think he was more like John Goodman's character.
But now I know that's not true.
Yeah, he's more like the real Lebowski.
Right, yeah. Just like a rich, angry old man.
No, that's your dad I was talking about.
He's more like Donny, probably.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh, CCR. And I might like CCR because my parents liked it. But this is kind of a point I have about the movie and why I felt it fell a little flat for me at times. I feel like this is a movie for Gen Xers.
Interesting. I could see that.
Yeah, or boomers.
Yeah,
I feel like maybe it's a
boomer.
little dated. I feel like the dude is dated.
Right.
Some
yeah,
things still stick around, like Walter's character's still relevant. And so is the real Lebowski, very relevant. But I felt like the dude is a little bit too dated for like millennials and younger.
Yeah, this is a very specific era. I mean, they even go out of their way to like show you this is like 1990 that this
Gulf
is all
War
happening.
era.
Yeah. And like this movie came out in 98, so like they were intentionally setting it like 8 years prior. But I think you're right. I was thinking that while I was watching this movie too, in the way that we talked about a little bit on Wayne's World. I think that this sort of dream of the slacker who just does nothing all day and like that's cool, that has just completely died out now. Like that's just not a thing anymore.
I felt it in this movie. In fact, I even wrote a whole thing about how I felt like how you felt in Wayne's World for this movie. Right. And a lot of times that whole bit just fell flat for me. Maybe that's why I felt like I didn't connect with the dude a lot in it. But
yeah, that makes sense.
I think for millennials, we probably should have followed the nihilist perspective. Maybe we would relate a little more.
Yeah. That's fair. But yeah, I mean, I think regardless of all of it, though, this movie has enough like charm and humor to still be fun and funny. It just maybe doesn't hit as hard as it did in 98.
I mean, this is kind of also what I wrote about the Wayne's World piece, is that I didn't find it as charming or funny as Wayne's World. However, I respected the craft more of this movie. You know what I mean? Like the stuff you're talking about, the way the dialogue's written, like everything they're making allegories to in the movie, I respect that for it. I just felt like it was dated for me, so I didn't like it as much. Where I I guess I liked Wayne's World more than this movie. Sorry, people.
Wow. Yeah, I liked this a lot more than Wayne's World. Some things I really liked about this movie. The part where the dude is at the pornographer's house, Jackie Treehorn.
Can't go wrong if that's how you start this.
And Jackie gets a phone call and writes something on the pad, and the dude gets up and etches it, and it's just a sketch of a dude with a huge boner. Like, that's such a great joke. It's so surreal and strange. Like what? What does this mean?
I understood, like, that's what I do when I'm on a phone or a call. I'm just doodling.
Yeah, you're just doodling.
But he's like trying to figure something out.
Yeah, he's like, perfect. Oh, I'm going to get a clue. And then it's just a boner.
Yeah.
I also really liked how the dude is just puffing on like tiny roaches the whole movie. Like, there's a couple scenes where you see him with a full joint, but mostly he just has like a roach in a clip and he's just like burning his mouth with it.
Maybe he is my dad.
Your dad just always burning roaches.
Yeah, but you would never catch that man in a cardigan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, never.
Wow. What about a bathrobe, though?
He's more like dressed like John Goodman, but act like the dude, I guess.
Oh, interesting.
Say you're remaking this movie now, right?
Yep.
You don't want to use these old actors anymore. We want a new, fresh take on it. I want you to cast. I want you to cast the dude and Walter and Donny. Let's hear it.
That's tough.
I'll tell you who should be Donny while you're thinking.
I was gonna actually, as I was thinking of actors, I thought of who I want to play Donny. I wonder if it's the same person you're gonna say.
We'll say on 3. Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
Sam
Pete
Rockwell.
Davidson. Oh, what?
Pete Davidson.
Oh man, he's the new Steve Buscemi. I watched Actors Roundtable with him on it, and people asked him, "What would your ideal role be like if you could play anything, like artistically, freedom?" Mm-hmm. He's just like, "I don't really have one. I just want to be like the third dude in every movie, like Steve Buscemi." He's like, he just wants to show up and do his thing.
Interesting. That's fair. I feel like
Sam Rockwell, though.
I feel like
I love Sam Rockwell.
I feel like he would be great in that role.
Oh man,
just quietly being great.
Yeah, I mean, I do love Sam Rockwell.
Yeah,
there's a lot of castings I think should always be Sam Rockwell.
That's fair.
One, I'm going to throw this out there because we're talking about Sam Rockwell roles. I don't think I'll ever have another opportunity. Guardians of the Galaxy, Sam Rockwell should have been
Star-Lord?
the raccoon. No.
Oh.
Rocky,
yeah, he would have been good at that.
Absolutely. I don't know how you choose what's his name over this guy.
Bradley Cooper. I actually think Bradley Cooper brings a lot more to that role than I would have expected.
Yeah. I mean, Bradley Cooper's better than Chris Pratt, so.
Yeah, agreed. I think maybe for the dude, though, I would go with Wyatt Russell.
Who dat?
He's Kurt Russell's son. He's been in a number of things. I don't know what you would know him from.
Let me pull up a quick Google picture.
He was in Falcon and the Winter Soldier and this
I've
great
seen this
show,
guy. I've seen this guy.
Lodge 49.
He's in some stuff I've seen.
Yeah, he's just got this really great, like, laid-back vibe. I think he could really fall into the role of the dude, grow his hair out.
That's fair. You want to hear my pick?
Yeah, let's do it.
And because I am more socially conscious than you are, I'm picking Aubrey Plaza.
Aubrey Plaza. As
I pulled it out of my ass last second.
I actually think Awkwafina could be an interesting.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah. I kind of pulled that out too as a joke when you said
that
it,
was
but
good.
Then I was like, as I was saying it, I was like, I wouldn't be mad about that.
That'd be pretty good.
Yeah. All right, so then that just leaves Walter.
Walter,
for our
who
dream
I'm sure we're
casting.
both thinking the same person.
Are we? Okay, who is it?
My dad.
Yeah, your dad is great.
Someone's dad.
Yeah, that's actually a really tough role because more than even Steve Buscemi's thing, it really feels like it was just written for John Goodman.
Ugh, it does, and that's
Like,
tough.
who could pull that off?
If we're doing like we're using a lot of young people for this, younger than they were in this movie. So
That's true.
that's funny because what's his face? Our boy who's doing the new A League of Their Own series, which comes out August 12th. By the way, just so you know, who's in Parks and Rec.
Nick Offerman?
He's an older choice, but he could pull it off.
Nick Offerman. Yeah, that's true. He could pull that off. He could do
You know what?
Walter.
I'm just going to use all Parks and Rec people, actually. Let's Sorry Plaza, Nick Offerman, and who can Aziz Ansari for.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go with Adam Scott for Donny. I feel like for me, for Walter, I mean Nick Offerman is a good pick. I like the fact that John Goodman is like huge in this movie. I would want it to be someone huge like that. Like,
Yeah, I bet you do.
you know who might be good in that role would be David Harbour.
You gotta stop mentioning people. I gotta Google every time you mention someone.
Hopper from Stranger Things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's not huge. You
should have
but
just said
he's
that,
he's a
Greg.
tall guy, you know. He's tall and he's like a chubby muscle guy, you know.
Yeah, he
like
can be pretty. He can
he's
be pretty
buff, but
thick.
he's not like
He can get a couple C's in there at the end of that thick.
yeah.
You know. I'm looking at this picture right now. Actually, I'm gonna send you this picture because just for your own enjoyment.
Oh, it's hot.
yeah.
He looking good.
How's that?
Ooh, yeah. Look at that. Oh,
That's-
woof. Woof. That's what they say,
Woof.
right?
That's what you're waiting for.
In the bear community. Woof.
Oh man, you're welcome. I sent a shirtless picture of David Hopper from Stranger Things to Greg.
It's true. Next to him in his Hellboy prosthetics. Okay, last piece of trivia, and then I want to do ratings.
Raid and run.
So the last piece of trivia is that apparently Jeff Bridges, before each scene, he would go to the directors and ask them if the dude had burned one on the way over. And if they said yes, which was most of the time, he would go rub his eyes as much as he could so that they would be all bloodshot for the scene.
Oh man, something that went completely unnoticed to me, but
Yeah.
that's funny. Does he change his acting too?
Yeah. You act different when you're high, I think.
I do.
Yeah, you specifically. Nobody else does, though. Everybody else stays normal, but you get weird.
I get real weird. Greg,
Yeah.
let's rate this fucking movie.
Yeah. What would you rate this, Mike? I'm really curious. It's actually been very hard to pin down how you actually felt about this movie based on what you said. So
Remind
I'm
me
really
what I
curious
gave.
to hear this number.
Yeah, remind me what I gave Wayne's World. I want to be somewhat
I
consistent.
think that was like an 8 or a 9. You rated it pretty high.
No, I did not. I did not give it an 8. I think it was a 7
Okay.
or a
And
6.
why'd you ask me?
I thought you had better memory, but turns out it sucks. Remind me what I gave Warriors of Virtue?
That was a 0 out of 10 you gave that.
No, that was 2 digits actually. I see why you confused it. Yeah, it's the first one that got a 10 on our podcast. This is what I wrote down, and this is gonna upset a lot of grumpies. And I think I already did this with Raiders of the Lost Ark. I gave it a 5 out of 10.
Woo. Wow. Fair enough.
It felt like it was for older people, man. You know,
Man.
man.
You know, man.
You know, man. It just didn't sit with me. I don't know, man.
Fuck it, man.
Fuck.
I mean, that's fair. I personally really enjoyed it. I laughed a lot during it. And as I said, I loved the specificity And I don't know, I liked how complex it was, and it was fun to unravel and everything. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Modest.
Yeah, I don't think this is I definitely don't think this is the best Coen Brothers movie, even by a long shot, but it's still good.
Yeah, I thought it was decent for a Coen Brothers movie.
Yeah, I mean, 5 is higher than I thought you would have rated it, so.
Really? Well, no, I said there was parts I enjoyed and respected of this movie. It's just,
I mean, before we talked about it, I would have guessed that your opinion would have been real low on this movie.
2 or 3, yeah.
Yeah.
Expectations-wise, it was better than I expected.
Oh,
Still
that's good.
very much overrated.
Yeah, that's probably true. I think it's just become its own thing beyond the movie that it actually is. It's just become some strange cultural object. And
Yeah, a lot of these are like Indiana Jones.
yeah.
So, Greg,
Yeah.
I've got trivia for you,
I love it.
but not in the sense that I'm just going to tell you things.
Yep.
I'm going to ask you for the answers because I don't know.
You don't know the answer.
I don't know the answers, so you got to tell me.
Tell you. Yeah.
All right, so bear with me here.
All right. Yeah, I'll do my best to fill you in on all of these questions that you have.
It's time for Trial by Trivia.
Can't wait.
Oh, well, you don't have to, Greg, because we're going to do it right now.
I can't wait.
Chill.
I can't do this, Mike. You're killing
Fucking
me.
chill.
You need to start it. I can't do this.
Question 1.
Yeah.
The Big Lebowski placed 98th on the top grossing films of 1998. That's a trivia I'm telling you. Name a movie that
Okay.
placed in the top 5 besides Titanic.
In 1998.
And that's kind of your hint, too. Besides Titanic. Clock's ticking.
Boy, I don't know what came out in 98. Armageddon?
Is that true?
Yep.
Is that one of the top grossing movies?
Yeah.
Oh, ding, ding, ding. You got it right. Congrats.
Yeah.
If I'm trusting you. Armageddon?
Yeah. Trust
Top
me.
5?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay, well, I did Google it ahead of time.
Oh, you
'Cause
had
I didn't know.
independent fact checkers.
I did. Independent
Review
fact
this
checkers, check
statement.
this out. Hold on, I'm getting word right now. That is correct. In fact, that was the second highest grossing right after Titanic.
Oh, shit.
So you did real good. Other
Nice.
answers they tell me are Saving Private Ryan. There's something about Mary and the Water Boy.
Foosball for the devil.
Foosball. Question 2. Are you ready for this one? You better have a good answer.
Yeah. I know you're so curious.
Well, this is a multiple choice.
Okay.
All right. There's
Sure.
going to be letters, and you pick of those choices. So don't answer it before I give you the choices.
Okay.
Of the given list, which is one thing that Walter says he cannot do on Saturday? A. Eat animal products.
A. Eat animal products.
B. Mow the lawn. C. Drink alcohol. Or D. Turn on the oven.
A. Eat animal products.
I didn't write down what the answer was.
You can trust me. That's correct. What I
I'll
just
trust
said.
you. Wait.
Independent fact checkers.
Just in, Greg, it's actually D. Turn on the oven.
Wait, what?
It's D. Turn on the oven.
Of things he didn't say.
You cannot do on Saturday. You cannot turn on the oven.
What did he say? No, read the question again.
Eat animal. Of these given lists, which is one thing that Walter says he cannot do on Saturday?
Oh, I had it backwards in my head.
You know what?
I thought what you were asking was what is the one thing of this list that he did not say?
Oh, yeah. That's what happens when you answer A before I finish doing the rest of them and you make assumptions, Greg.
It's true. I jumped the gun.
Question 3. What word
Fuck.
was used 292 times in The Big Lebowski?
Fuck.
I will take other words as well. Other variations.
Fucking. Motherfucker. Fuck it. Fucker. Fuckino. Fuckonovich. independent fact checkers going to check that?
No, I knew that one.
Oh, that one you did know.
Yeah, that one
that was right?
I did know.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I also I had fuck stick. You didn't say that one. But yeah.
Sorry, I missed that one.
Question question 4. What is interesting about the shirts that Donnie wears while bowling?
None of them have his name on it.
Wow, you knew that one. You probably looked this up.
I did read that earlier, that he wears a bunch of custom-made shirts and none of them have his actual name on them.
Yes, that is accurate. Good job on that.
Yeah.
I think there's some foul play for you looking this up right before trivia.
I mean, you knew going into it that I am obsessed with reading trivia after I watch a movie. So
Yeah, no, it's hard to come up with trivia questions when I know you're going to cheat like that.
it's not cheating if you know I'm going to do it.
I've got to come up with ones that aren't specific to the movie that we're doing.
Yeah.
That's what...
Yeah, because I just go on IMDb and just read that trivia. I'm like, all I do is read IMDb and Wikipedia. That's all I look at.
Well, I just take the first 5 facts and turn them into trivia questions from there. So, question 5, last question of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Bridges is a passionate artist who released 2 country music albums and 2 photography books. But a lesser known fact about the man is that he's also an actor in moving picture films. In fact...
Wait, what? Jeff Bridges?
Yeah,
He's
in
been
movies.
in movies?
Yeah.
The pictures?
Moving
Talkies?
ones. Talkies.
What? Jeff Bridges, the
Movers.
musician.
He's in Movers.
That's shocking to me. I've never heard that before.
In fact, he has won what is known as an Oscar. It's a award they
like
give.
my cat?
He won a cat.
He won my cat?
Yeah.
I don't remember signing up my cat to be given away as an award.
Well, it's happening. Jeff Bridges has him, and he earned him for his role in a movie. What is that movie, Greg?
Crazy Heart?
That is correct.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
I haven't either. I don't know why that movie has stuck in my memory because I never saw it.
But I might have. But I get confused with Walk Hard. So
I don't think those are similar at all.
You got 4, despite cheating, despite some foul play. You got 4 out of 5 questions correct.
Wow.
Had you
It would have been
listened to
5
the question,
if I hadn't just jumped the gun.
which I warned you about ahead of time.
I know, but that's what made me want to jump the gun, not listen to you. Because you warned me, it made me want to just prove you wrong.
I'll tell you what you didn't do this time is you didn't phone in a hint, and that is impressive. And what happened was you got your best score ever.
Yeah.
On Try By Trivia.
That's true.
By not asking for any help from me.
Yeah, I wonder if that Mike Hunt is not helping me.
It's definitely not. Oh.
Man, I hope he doesn't think I'm just like ghosting him because I didn't call this week.
Maybe you should dial him up just in case.
Maybe I should just call him real quick and just check it.
Oh,
beep, 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 beep. Bring, bring, bring.
Hey, man.
Hello. Is this Mike?
What's up, dude?
Oh, did I get the dude?
Nah, man. This is the Lebowski.
The Lebowski.
The Lebowski.
Well, I just wanted to call up and check in because I was worried that you would be worried about me if I didn't call this week.
Oh, you know what, dude? I wasn't.
Oh, you weren't?
I wasn't worried at all.
Well, that's because you have a carefree attitude. You're just smoking roaches in your bathtub and listening to whale songs all day.
You can see me right now?
Yeah. I'm looking through your window.
This fucking creep. Who are you?
Who
is this?
I'm a private dick, just like you.
Oh, most dicks are.
All right. Well, it seems like your affectation wore off real quick. You don't really sound like the dude anymore.
I don't want to have to pull up a thesaurus for this call.
It's all good. I just wanted to check in. We don't have to keep talking. It's
Hey man,
clear
you need a hint?
don't want to talk.
I got hints. You want some hints?
I actually don't need any hints this week, Mike Hunt, but thank you for the offer.
I have one about what the next movie's going to be.
Oh, shit. What's the next movie going to be?
Oh, shit. I never figured it out. Oh, man. So I pulled our loyal viewers for what the next movie should be. And it didn't go well.
Great.
I sent a real good friend of mine who likes watching this show, despite being my friend. He just likes it anyway.
To the show.
Yeah, some people watch their phone screens while they're listening to podcasts. I sent him your whole list of unseen movies, and he said, I can't pick 5, roll a D100 and choose randomly. But then he said, I started to separate a few, and it turned into a dozen, and I wasn't halfway done. I'd pick a horror movie, because Gregg likes horror movies. Then he said Dawn of the Dead. What he doesn't know is you don't like zombie movies.
That's true, but I like them when they're done well.
But then he said Halloween, but it sucks.
Whoa.
And he said, so if you want to do a bad one, do that. But then he said, or Les Mis because he hates musicals.
Oh, God. Please don't choose Les Mis. Oh, Dan,
but here's
don't
what we're going to
me.
do. Here's what we're going to do because I found out something today, despite having seen the list like 100 times now.
Yep.
Because I read backwards. I read from like right to left and bottom up.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, that's how I watch movies too. The only movie that's ever made sense to me is Memento. Yeah. No, but I found out through literally you reading something I read over again that you haven't seen the old Batman movies, my man.
That's true. The first Batman I ever saw, the earliest Batman I've ever seen is Batman Begins.
Wow. Are you 20?
I am not 20. I am 31.
Wow. Well, I got a little surprise for you. More people play Batman than Christian Bale.
What?
Yeah. He's the
only one.
He's got different levels to his voice, Batman.
What?
But you know what I did see and what you're going to watch next week because I say so?
Yeah, what am I watching?
Batman.
Batman?
Just Batman.
Okay, so here's how little I know about Batman, the original movies. I don't even know if it is Michael Keaton or George Clooney in that first one.
And that's perfect. I don't want you to know until the title rolls and you start seeing the credits.
I'm pretty sure that it was Tim Burton, but maybe he only came on for Batman Returns.
Oh, this
I
is
actually
good.
don't know. Yeah.
Let's save it. Okay. We're going to watch not the Batman, just Batman.
Yeah, Batman.
Also my favorite sport.
Badman.
Can you imagine if that was it probably is my favorite sport. I love that game.
Batman playing Batman. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. That should be fun, right? It's like 80s superhero stuff.
Yeah, and I chose it all by myself, no thanks to my deadbeat friend.
Yeah, who probably doesn't even listen to this podcast.
He does, and this is going to be a problem after he hears this.
After we throw him under the bus.
But I don't care, man. You know what? I feel good about this, Gregg, and I feel like this podcast really tied the room together.
Oh boy, that's what we're going out on.
Cut that. You know what? But sometimes, Gregg, there's a podcast. I'm talking about culture gaps here. Sometimes there's a podcast. Well, it's the podcast for the right time and place. Well, let me just cut that. All right, I'm running out of quotes here, Greg. I wrote down here, I'll suck your cock for $1,000, but he can't watch. You'd have to pay 100.
I mean, I wish you'd given it more, but yeah. That's a great one. You just tossed it away, but...
I'm not surprised you responded to that one with, I wish you'd given it more. Mike abides.
I actually like that one.
Culture Gap.